Welcome to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast with your host Justin and BJ. We talk about 3-day-old news, sports, and whatever else we care about. You, the MVP listener, you listen in, you laugh, you hate on our takes and opinions, but please, if you're going to hate on our opinions, don't let us know unless it's been 3 days, because then we probably forgot about it. So
yeah, I already did.
Yep.
We're doing a podcast right
now. So, Justin, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. Just another lovely week. It's decided to rain for like a whole day here. Finally,
welcome to Oregon.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's nice to be here, virtually. But yeah, no, things have been going good. Weekend was kind of, it was all right. It was a good weekend of hanging out. I mean, the weekend needs to be better when Nebraska wins, but you know, we're going to move on from that.
Let me ask you this question when it comes to Nebraska football, because I know when we lived there, the Huskers were more of a winning team. They were starting to come, you know, we were there once T.O. retired and, you know, there were still some winning seasons, but that's when Nebraska started some losing when we were there.
Yeah, that's why you hate Halloween. Because they lost that game on Halloween. Remember that?
No, but...
oh, come on. You were at the game with me.
I know. I was just going to say, was that the Texas game?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the Texas game, I remember going with you, and we had really good seats we got from somebody in the church. And we went down for the tunnel walk, and it was just you and me that went. And it was really a cool experience. We saw, that was Ricky Williams, I believe.
Yep. I think it's Ricky Williams. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Texas beat Nebraska. But I remember my dad talking about when the Huskers would lose on Saturday, Sunday was like going to church and doing a funeral.
Yeah, it's still like that.
Even though they have had a losing record for 10 years in a row?
Yeah. You can kind of tell.
Yeah.
That's
still too bad.
I mean, I think that's just the nature. I think that's just being a fan, no matter how your team is. It's just your mood.
Yeah, but I think it's the next day. It should probably not be lingering.
Well, you know how let it linger. Yeah, I mean, I would agree that at some point we should learn from it. But just like any true Husker fan, we think we're gonna get back to winning, so we could just celebrate all the time.
No, I get that, and I get that. So that's why I was asking. So yeah, we don't have to stay there. That's fine. Yeah,
no, you're fine.
It does make it better when your team wins, for sure.
I mean, it would have been nice if they would have won a game out in California and celebrated with the 20,000 fans that showed up to California, which is still crazy that Nebraska fans are traveling to these games. And soon Nebraska will be coming up to Oregon.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be fun. I'll have to come out for that game.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe.
So
we'll see. But yeah, no, other than that, I'm trying to think of what else we did this weekend. I felt like there was something that we did, and now I don't remember. But what about you? What'd you do? Anything exciting?
You know, it was a good weekend, relaxing weekend. I took a couple days off work leading up to the weekend, so that was good and refreshing. And then just not a whole lot going on, but just kind of hung out and had a good time, and went to church on Sunday, and that was good. I think probably what's helped me when it comes to this whole fandom thing that we just talked about is I don't watch my teams much anymore, not for lack of desire, I just don't. And it helps your attitude.
Well,
have to watch your team lose, but my team did win this weekend, and that was good. Coming off the disappointment of the week before, and the
Broncos are playing really good right now.
They are.
Their defense is playing really well.
But to have a rookie quarterback doing what he's doing as well is a good thing too. So that's good. But no, it was a good weekend. And yeah, Monday came, and here we are doing this again. And so, you know, here we are back in the routine.
Yeah. So I was reading some articles this week. How do you feel about living in a place where it literally would be dark for 64 days straight?
Yeah, the article you sent was that the sun set tonight, I believe,
I
right?
think it was today. Yep,
Tonight.
tonight's
So
sunset.
tonight's sunset in Barrow, Alaska is the last time those residents will see the sun for 64 days. And not because the sun won't rise, it just won't rise there because of how the Earth's rotation and position and all the science that goes behind it. So 64 days of darkness in Barrow, Alaska.
It
That's
just
a
doesn't
lot.
come over the edge, right? For the
Right.
flat earthers, right? Like they
Right.
just didn't get over the edge so you can see it.
Supposedly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, 64 days. That's whew.
So here's a little. So I wondered. I've never been to Alaska. We had some friends that were missionaries up there, and it's not just in this little town or this. It's a big portion of the state where it's dark.
Yeah, and I think that town just has the longest based off where they're at, and I think
Yeah.
that's why it's newsworthy.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, they have. Go ahead.
There's some places that are like 20 hours or 22 hours in the day, and then this one is like 24 hours because of where it's located. You're right. So, but in where we live in Oregon, we supposedly, according to, I guess, Farmer's Almanac, I don't know. When we moved here, I did some research to discover this. It rains. We get precipitation 200 days out of the year.
So it feels like the sun never comes out.
We're in that season, and our winters here are they get dark. Not like, I'm not trying to compare it to Alaska, but like today, for example, I mean, it's been raining for 2-3 days straight now here, and 3:00, the clouds are gray and the sky's dark and the time change already, and it's so yeah, it feels dark all day long sometimes, and that's discouraging. When you see blue sky around here at this time of year, it brightens your day, pun intended.
Yeah,
So.
no, that's in Alaska. Like on the flip side, in the summer though, they have 24-hour sun.
They do, and you have to have the dark shades to be able to sleep at night.
Yeah, it's like if you work night shift,
Yeah,
you need your darkening shades for your room. They have it's pretty popular to go watch baseball. They have I don't know if they have a league or they have games and stuff that happens all night. Which there was something like that where you used to live.
Yeah, so that's the first place I heard of, because I'm a baseball fan and I liked baseball growing up, and so I'd heard about that and I thought, oh, that'd be really cool because their shtick there is that they can play baseball in the sunlight for 24 hours.
Correct.
Which is, and they do. They have a tournament. They actually have an Alaska league for just that, which is kind of cool. I just looked it up. But yeah, and then when we moved to Wichita, Kansas, the NBC World Series is in Wichita, Kansas, and it is a couple of week-long tournament, and then part of that, one of the weekends in that tournament, they have 24-hour baseball, and so you can go down and watch a game all day, all hours of the day and night for a whole weekend, which is really cool. I went down there and did that once, and it's interesting. It's quite the mental block when you're sitting in the baseball stadium and it's 3:00 in the morning and you're watching like the second, third inning of a baseball game. So,
do I get the peanuts now or get a hot dog?
breakfast burrito.
How am I gonna pay for this later?
Yeah,
that would be a. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I don't know about the darkness. I mean, do you think you could survive 64 days of pitch black and not see sunlight?
I mean, to your literal question, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can. I could, but you would be ready for it at the end for sure.
Well, that's true. But I wonder if we took you from where you're at, or me and where I'm at in the Midwest and just plopped you there, like what kind of culture shock do you think somebody would have instantly?
Oh, I mean, yeah, definitely. The first 2-3 days, it'd be probably similar to your wife's work night shift, right?
Yeah.
It would be similar to somebody that's going on night shift for the first time, and
Trying to get their body used to it.
yeah, and so I mean, you got to get your body used to it. Your mind, it's a mind thing, it's a mental thing. That's why there's studies that talk about seasonal depression and all of those things. Well, it's a mind thing for sure. But the
Definitely.
mind affects the body and the physical too. So
Yeah, no, 100% on that. That probably talking about your mind and your mental part. Did you read this other article I sent you about the insurance fraud in California? Where
I
these,
did.
oh my gosh, this California couple filed fraudulent claims for bear attacks, and come to find out that they were just dressing up like a bear and using like meat tenderizers as their claws, and they thought that they could get away with that. They got, I don't know, what was like over $100,000 for a couple cars,
Mm-hmm.
and then and they were just calling in and reporting bears attacking their cars. I'm kind of wondering how that actually works. They must have had somebody working on the cars to, because you have to still prove that you had an attack. I mean, I worked auto insurance. Like, I don't know how you end up winning that much or getting that much money out of it. I mean, I know you're asking for $150,000 to replace your Mercedes, but
And
I don't know.
If you have that kind of car to begin with, why are you trying to destroy it dressed as a bear?
He was probably upside down on the loan.
Yeah,
I would guess. Somebody, I think if you're in that position, you're trying to do whatever you can to get quick cash. At that point, you might not care.
True.
Maybe. I mean, I've never thought about that. I mean, I thought about leaving a car at an airport, but just leaving it there, putting it in somebody else's name, and let them deal with it. But
which is crazy when you sent me that picture as well. When you think about, I don't know when's the last time you traveled, but they are like sticklers. If you park in the unloading and loading zone longer than letting out somebody of your car, and then to think that somebody could park a car at an airport for that long, and it not be towed. Come on, that's
long-term
crazy.
Parking. It's okay.
Well, that's true.
Long-term parking.
$104,000 in parking tickets for that car.
That's you. Yeah, you save that. You save that for somebody you really hate.
Yeah, that's a low blow right there.
Yeah, well, car's not in your name now.
Yeah.
But the other thing I forgot, I did do this weekend. Did you do what everybody in America did and watch that Tyson Logan Netflix buffer thing that they were doing?
Yeah, I reminded you about it.
Yeah, you did about 1,000 times. But man, that kind of blew up in their face.
See, that's what everybody said. We had one little problem. We got the whole thing.
Really?
We never had an
buffered hard here, like every time.
Yeah, no, we had an issue right before the Tyson fight started. All I had to do was get out of the app and get back in it, and it was fine.
Man, we did that 100 times.
Yeah.
And then, but they had reported like 60 million people on Netflix just to watch that.
Yeah.
And then I ended up watching it on.
Hey, hold on.
Yeah,
they're getting ready. They're getting ready for two more live events on Netflix. Okay.
Oh yeah, I know.
They are not going to have that problem when they have the Chiefs on.
No, that'd be hilarious if they did, though.
No, they won't. Nobody likes the Chiefs that much.
Well, yeah, they won't have 60 million. You're right.
Yeah,
but it is like over Christmas, isn't it? Christmas Day game.
Yeah, but it's the Chiefs. Who wants to watch the Chiefs?
Yeah, but people watch NFL on Christmas Day. They just have it on in the background. But I ended up watching it on Antonio Brown, the wide receiver. He was in the he was at the top level, so his view of the big screen was right across from him, and he just live streamed it. And that was one of 6.6 million people watching it on his live stream. Wow. And it came in so clear. He never had a buffering issue inside the stadium, but Netflix couldn't even It is funny watching people just like melt down on social media. Like I literally got a kick out of that. I went to
Well,
social media and started reading everybody freaking out.
but
It was hilarious.
but that's to me that's one of the things that when you do something for the first time like
Yeah.
that, I can't remember who there was a streaming service that did this a couple years ago for the first time, and they had a bunch of issues like this. But that's only good publicity for them.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes off without a hitch, nobody's talking about Netflix the night
Yeah.
after and their live stuff. But now you get to talk about it. And I saw a headline that said Netflix was like, yeah, it didn't take us by surprise, but yeah, we kind of didn't have enough. We didn't expect that big of a.
We had to do something because we were tired of showing Mike Tyson's butt on Netflix and showing that on live stream.
That was awesome.
That was weird. The weirdest thing ever. Oh my gosh. This old
Right
man,
after his interview with his son, and then his
old
butt
man
cheeks
butt,
are hanging
old
out.
man butt hanging out. It's like he's just got out of the showers. Oh gosh.
But that was, I will say, I mean, I enjoy watching the fights, whether it's UFC or, when you can watch a good boxing match, it's pretty cool. I didn't ever, obviously, but I didn't ever get to see my dad box, but my dad boxed. So watching fights with him and hearing his take and learning from him, I never boxed either, but I just enjoy that. And so it was cool to see Tyson back in the ring, even though it was definitely just a money grab and a publicity
100%
stunt.
it was.
It was to be 58 years old and to get in there for 16 minutes. Yeah, he got hit a few times, and that's when as the announcers were saying, this is getting scary because he's not looking good. And it's like, yeah, you're 58. You probably shouldn't be in a boxing match, but I enjoyed the fights.
The girls' fight right before it was the best.
It was, but they had something to fight for too.
Yeah.
So
it was a rematch.
I only saw one of the girls' payday out of that. Did you see both the girls' payday?
I didn't. No.
So I saw that Tyson took like $20 million, and
I thought Logan got 40.
He got 40 million, yeah.
But he was the promoter of the thing, though. That was
his promotion company, yeah.
Yeah. And all of his rules and his judges.
And well, it wasn't his judges because it was a sanctioned fight.
He got to pick his judges, though.
But I mean, they were Texas sanctioned judges, is what I'm saying.
That's true.
His whole fighting career, he has handpicked his opponent and the situation because he's an influencer.
Gotcha. Correct.
But he's trying to get that fighting notoriety but you're not going to get it by fighting a 60-year-old man either.
No, I heard he's going to take on Babe Ruth in a home run contest here in a little bit too. So that should go well.
Depending on who's pitching, you don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
But no, we have a local boxer named Terrence Bud Crawford, pound for pound, one of the better boxers, and he just came out, and the AD for Nebraska came out talking about doing one of his boxing matches at Memorial Stadium, having like 90,000 people.
Yep.
Which is actually, I kind of know some insight from that, from behind the scenes, know somebody who kind of confirmed it through Bud Crawford's camp, that most likely it might be something that it could be like his farewell, like, I'm going to be done boxing, like I'll do my last big match in Nebraska, because he doesn't really fight in Nebraska anymore. Like he's that big that he doesn't fight at the local places in Omaha, even because he's making more money in different places. And so yeah, that's the rumor. The rumor is that he's going to have his last big, probably farewell to boxing, because a lot of people are dodging him and don't want to fight him too, or they just can't agree. Like, you can call it whatever you want in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
They're dodging you, but your team is really not agreeing to the terms or what they want to do weight wise, or but I don't get into it that much. I'm like you. I'll watch boxing and MMA and stuff like that. So
do you remember? I think it was in Lincoln. Lincoln and Omaha, they had, before UFC really got going, they had these no, it wasn't in Lincoln, it was in Colorado. We went to a place in Colorado when they first started doing these public come in off, kind of like in Spider-Man when he gets in the ring and wrestles that guy in the movie. But they had these
Was he wearing a mask?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But not in these there was these street fights basically in a ring. It was open call.
Yeah.
And you could go down to this auditorium and watch these people fight, just brawl, and it was comical, but it was entertaining, and it kind of mixed the whole TV wrestling with actual real Joe Schmoes that think they can fight, and
backyard wrestling.
Yeah, and you could see women, and you could see big fat heavyweight guys that just go out there and one punch and the guy's out because
they're
so
fluffy.
bad.
They're fluffy.
Yeah, but those were. Let me ask you this question though. This is but you're a sports fan, so you kind of have a knowledge of sports in general, but you don't follow all the sports. You don't care about all the sports. If somebody took away football for you and you had to invest your interest in another sport, what sport would you invest your interest and time into?
Wow. What sport? If they took away football?
Yeah. So the same passion and intensity you have for football, you had to put it on a different non-mainline sport. What would you
So you're taking away the mainline sports?
I think so, because you know a little bit about those. What's the sport you would want to just invest time and energy and mental power into learning and knowing more about and following?
Rugby.
Okay. It's like football?
Well, it's nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
It has some. Obviously has a lot of skill. Yes, and it has a ball. And it has feet, so it's kind of like football.
And goalposts that you kick.
It's got goalposts to kick through it. So it's probably a cop-out answer. But yeah, I said rugby just because every year I try to watch. They bring to Vegas. I think they do this thing called the US Sevens, or it's a rugby. Because I think rugby's played with more than 7. I think is what.
There's 7 and there's 14.
Yeah, so it's not the 14 one. They do the 7 one, and they have this big world tournament in Vegas every year, and they show it on TV, and I sit and watch it, and I just find it interesting. It's fast paced, and that's probably the only non-major sport in the United States that I will pop on and watch. Yeah, I don't know. Cricket interests me, but I don't really.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people play it recently here in town, and still don't understand it.
Yeah,
bouncing a ball and hitting some sticks. What about you? What would strike your fancy? Pickleball?
I mean, I added to the caveat by saying a non-mainstream. If I could change my own question, I don't know. You're right. I mean, cricket would interest me just to know the rules and know the game a little bit more, but then I think I would get frustrated with it. I would probably, this is mainstream though, I would probably lean towards hockey more.
Yeah.
But then,
I can get behind hockey. I love playoff hockey.
Yeah.
Playoff hockey is
or
nothing else.
Low level, high quality, low level hockey like the Lincoln Stars.
Oh yeah.
And those minor leagues, those kind of things, that kind of hockey where the guys are still trying to prove themselves or they're young guys coming up. I mean, those Lincoln Star games were awesome to go to and attend. And I know wherever we've lived, we've seemingly found a low level hockey league to go watch a game at, or even baseball to go watch a minor league or an independent league game, something like that. To me, it's fun to watch the semi-pro or the amateurs that are still trying to find a way. I can get behind that, any day of the week. But I would probably lean more towards a sport that I would sit there and be like, man, I could do this. Like bowling or cornhole,
yeah.
Those kind of things where it's like, if I invested that much beer and bean bags, I mean, I did. I bought a sewing machine.
Yes, you did.
Started sewing bags because that was fun. I enjoyed that. I started sewing just because I wanted to make bags, and I did that. But then I enjoyed sewing a little bit, so that was fun.
Yeah, I remember we were at somebody's house when I visited you in Pittsfield, and we went. I don't remember what house they were at. They had horses off one side and food and stuff over there, and we were playing cornhole. And remember, we had to change the game, like the scoring of the game, because our game kept on going forever. Like we started making up extra rules as we went, because you know how when you're I don't know the actual rules of cornhole, but you correct me when I am playing it wrong. But we were adding rules like, hey, if you're going to purposely not get it on the board and not get a point so you can score, you actually had to try to hit the board but come off the board.
Yep.
And we were doing – so I was playing that with somebody recently, and I told them – and they're like, what? You had to put those rules in? I was like, yeah, me and my friend BJ, we just kept on playing, and it would have lasted forever if we didn't put these extra rules in to make it in. So, but I have fun with games where you can just change the rules too randomly.
Yeah, well, and I get why you say that, and that's important. I do have to say this though about cornhole, and I have to give a shout out to my son. My son and I are 2-time defending champions in a cornhole tournament out here. And
newsflash!
They ended the tournament this year. They didn't have it, so we didn't have a chance to defend our title again. So we are reigning 2-time cornhole champions in this tournament that we played in every year, which was pretty cool. Yeah, thank
you. Yeah, so they had to end it because you guys were so good, huh?
That's what we'll go with. Yeah, that's what we'll go with. Yeah,
I think I know the real reason.
My son asked me this year. He goes, "Dad, do you want to play in that tournament with me again?" I said, "Absolutely, I will." And so we were planning to join and signed up, and they had the event that it was normally at, and no cornhole tournament this year. They did something different, so we didn't get a chance. But we faced the same team both years in the finals. And this team that we faced both years, they're pretty serious about it. They go around the local.
Do they have matching outfits?
They didn't. There was a couple teams that did because their wives made shirts for them or something. But
do they have matching skull cans with dip in their mouth?
No, they did have. It wasn't beer or alcohol, but they did have drinks in their hands to counterbalance their throws for sure. So,
is that why you have the drink in your hand to counterbalance yourself?
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Oh,
I thought
you just had the drink in your hand because you enjoyed the drink.
Well, if you're gonna do that, you might as well, right? So
that's yeah.
So yeah, those are good questions. Good job. Let's get back to, since we're not eliminating football, let's get back into where we normally go this time in the show. And,
I was going to ask you about ice cream.
Oh, what about ice cream?
I read this article. I can't even find it because I heard it on the radio. An NHL star got called out for asking for too much ice cream, because you know how you can go and get like special samples, or you can go get ice cream and then you can get sample your ice cream, right? Did you know there's a limit on how many samples you can get?
No, I did not know that. Like at Baskin Robbins, you asked?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so supposedly, like, he didn't know what he wanted. So he got 3 scoops of ice cream, okay, for his ice cream cone. So how, in a logical person, and if you were running a business, if somebody ended up getting 3 scoops, how many samples do you think that person should get?
Probably, I would say 8 or 9.
Dude. Yeah, like 3 per scoop, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they made a big deal because he had like 9 or something, like 9 or 12. Maybe, yeah. But anyways, but are you a sample guy for ice cream?
No, but I have found this place out here that does it's like a Baskin Robbins when it's got a bunch of different flavors, but it's all homemade ice cream. And so it's that same homemade, it's so good.
Yeah.
And so we go there and they have a ice cream flight that is a kind of like a sampler. So you can get 4 scoops of 4 different flavors, and I did that once. That's the way to go. Is you can try it that way. No, I'm not a sample guy because I'm not an inconvenience guy. I don't want to inconvenience people. I won't take things back. I won't do that. I won't send food back. I just won't. I won't inconvenience somebody else.
Even if you got the wrong Chipotle bowl, you won't send it back?
If you got the wrong bowl at Chipotle, that's your own fault because you're standing there ordering.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. No, and inconvenient. I like people who inconvenience others when the line's super long. I think that's super important for people's lives.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to sit there and be like, hey, let me make your job easier today.
Well, yeah. So you ordered vanilla. I got it.
No, that's another. I won't do that either.
What is your go-to flavor?
Ooh, boy.
Uh-oh.
That's a tough one. I mean, I'm going to lean towards something that's maybe raspberry family.
Okay.
But I also like a Rocky Road or a good mix like that too. So
Gotcha.
It varies. I can. That's the thing with ice cream. I can do about anything.
I don't get ice cream a lot. Like I don't go out of my way to get ice cream a lot. I think my family thinks I'm weird. But I have recently changed up my Dairy Queen. I used to just get M&M Blizzards all the time. Just M&M. That's all I'd ever get. I finally changed it up. Reese's Pieces with cookie dough.
Yeah, that's good.
That's solid.
I got one of those sitting in my freezer still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Maybe send it my way.
Okay.
You should mail it to me. Well, that's cool. Sorry, that was just my random. I had that article locked and loaded, and then I forgot where I put it and what computer I read it on. So, but I'm glad that I agree. 3, you can try 3 flavors. I think it's kind of weird to be asking for 9 samples for 3 scoops, but whatever. But
yeah, we went to the yogurt shops that you fill your own bowl and you can put your toppings on. And then
the ones when you weigh it and it's $19 for yogurt. Yeah.
So we have one here, and it's not that bad priced actually. It's pretty good, but now I would get a sample at a place like that because you're controlling it yourself.
Yeah.
You're not inconveniencing somebody else for you to get a sample.
But what if you're holding up the line because you're getting samples?
Then you need to stop at some point.
Yeah,
for sure.
You just ask those people to leave. Like, do you know where the exit's at? It's over there.
Yeah, that's like the people that go to the Mexican restaurant and get chips and salsa and water and walk out.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you eat a whole bowl of chips and salsa, it's like eating 14 tortilla shells.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. You stand at a yogurt shop and you eat 6 samples. You've just had a bowl of ice cream. So,
yeah, that's all they want.
Yeah.
We used to do that as kids at the ice cream store. Just go get the samples. Yeah, I don't think I want any ice cream today. Walk right out.
See, you were that guy. You were that kid.
We were also like, I don't know, hopped up on sugar from Ben Franklin.
You remember our times out at TCBY?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Becky's go-to. That was fun.
Yeah, Becky used to work there.
No, that's right.
Not in Lincoln. No. But we would go all the way across town just to go to that one.
Yep.
Because we lived way north of town. That one doesn't... Nope, that doesn't exist anymore, I don't think. I think it closed.
Yeah.
What was it? What did TCBY stand for?
This can't be yogurt.
This country's best yogurt. I don't remember. I don't really know. It was pretty good. I don't even remember. It's some kind of parfait we used to get all the time. But anyways, so yeah,
let's segue this. Would you order ice cream as a concession, like ice cream in a cone or a dish at a football game?
No,
it just doesn't fit.
No, I get like at Husker football games when it's really hot out, like an ice cream would probably hit the spot. But can you imagine like carrying that stupid thing, sitting next to people and trying to enjoy it?
No
way. Like,
you're inconveniencing people again.
I would eat a frozen Goodrich chocolate malt
at a football game.
Yeah, because it's already frozen. You're just scooping it out. You're not carrying around on a cone.
Okay.
I mean, if my dad would deliver a malt to me at a football game, that would be awesome.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. So
Tim Rabel malts. Our show is sponsored by Tim Rabel malts.
Yeah, we won't tell you what's in it.
Nope.
Because you might not want to ever drink one again. But
so
they
good.
are
so good.
They're soon going to be world famous once he comes on the podcast.
Yeah, this is a ploy. We want Tim Rabel, calling Tim Rabel to come on the show.
Now, I'm going to ask this question again. Was my dad still a Sunday school teacher when you guys... Okay.
He was middle school.
Okay. So, like, my dad was my Sunday school teacher, and every Sunday he'd bring a treat. And he'd be up early Sunday morning, and he would make something crazy. And one of his famous things he used to make was this thing called Texas Trash, or something like that. And pretty much all of it was like the 5 boxes of containers of things in the back of the cupboard. He threw it on a baking tray and poured corn syrup over it and cooked it, brought it to the kids. Oh my gosh. No wonder we're all have diabetes now. But I didn't know if you remembered, but if my dad wasn't your Sunday school teacher, then you probably don't remember that too much.
He wasn't mine, but because his treats were so famous, he would bring them to his class, and then
everybody would
our
eat
class
it.
would go eat them. Yeah.
So you remember those types of treats that my dad used to
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, my dad, his cooking, you just don't ask what's in it. You just ask if it's going to kill you or not if you ate it. But it's kind of what
you still risk it because it was good. So
yeah, that's if I made it through his Sunday school class. I get kicked out of his class a lot.
Go sit in the hall. This is my bedroom.
Well, yeah. I remember having to go sit with my mom a lot, and my dad used to kick me out of Sunday school class. Oh my gosh. Those are good times going home, I tell you what.
Yep. My dad was never my Sunday school teacher, but he was been my pastor for most of my life. And I remember getting called out in service and having to come sit in front row because I was talking too loud or something to my friend.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I guess I've never really thought about that from that standpoint.
Then you knew you were getting talked to at home that night, too.
That's when you're like, hey, friends, anybody want to invite me over for lunch today? I don't want to go home.
Yeah. Are we having pizza at your house tonight?
Yep. Yeah, I don't care what mom's making good tonight. I don't want to go home and talk to dad. You're like avoiding the plague. But yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Well, good. Let's jump into our predictions for the week. We're going to get back into football because that's all we really know a little bit about. And so last week, Justin, you were back on the winning train. 3-2 last week. Your record overall is 30-30. So you are dead even in your picks after, I believe we're getting ready to pick our 13th week. So after 12 weeks, you are 30-30. So good job. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks.
And you've been leading me all season long. I had a 5-0 week 2 weeks ago. And this last week, I had another good week. And I had a 4-1 week. And my overall record, I have caught up. We are back to square 1, square 0, whatever. I am 30-30 as well. So if you're betting games with Justin or myself, you should probably stop because we're not winning. But we
Or
are.
just bet the 30 that won.
Yeah, I mean, don't only bet half of our games, and you would be in good shape. So
Yeah, get 2.5 a week. Congratulations.
there you go. So I got 5 games for us again this week, and all three college, 2 NFL. And this week I did not want to pick the highest point spread because it was a tie for the highest point spread between Georgia and Tennessee, and their respective games. They just played each other last week, so I didn't want to pick them again. So they have point spreads this week of 42 points, by the way, that they're favored by. Again, you talked about this last week. The SEC plays their non-con kind of in this part of the year for some of their teams, and that's what
it makes them feel good.
Yeah, I mean they get some practice games in at the end, which are pretty good. So I went and picked some games. I was going to text you and say, what games you want to pick? And I'm like, no, we haven't done that all year, so I'm just going to keep it a surprise. I have this weird appreciation and kind of a fixation on the armed forces teams. And so I have picked 2 games this week that include the armed forces teams just because I'm interested in them. So you're going to have to just tolerate that this week. So the first game I'm picking is they're 2 losing teams, but Nevada has played some good teams this year. They have played them close in some good games, but they are 3-8 on the year. They're 0-5 in their conference. Air Force is 3-7 on the year. They're 1-4 in the conference. So Air Force is going to Nevada to play the Wolfpack. The Fighting Falcons of Air Force are not favored. They are underdogs by 3.5 points going into Nevada. Air Force at Nevada. Who you got?
Let's do. I'm gonna go to Nevada.
Okay.
I like Nevada.
Yeah, I don't think we need to spend a lot of time here because we don't really know much about these teams either. But I'm going.
Nevada. I know where they're low. I know what states they're in.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good start.
Yeah, Nevada. I got that one. That one's good. I think Nevada. I think they're gonna win. Yeah,
I got Nevada too. I like Air Force as the team. I like Air Force as the school. There in Colorado Springs, the Air Force Academy is a beautiful stadium, a beautiful place to see a football game. I got to see. Here's a story. I've been to one Air Force football game, and I got to see them play when Marshall Faulk played for San Diego State, and he killed them. But
you want to hear a weird Nebraska fact about Marshall Faulk?
Sure.
Nebraska recruited him, and they said, "We want you to be a defensive back. We don't see you as a running back." Whoops. Well, I mean, a lot of schools did that. That's why he ended up at San Diego State. But
yeah.
Wowzers.
Yeah. Well, I'm going with Nevada. Nevada has played some tough teams and played them well. I think Nevada wins this by more than 3.5.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Jumping back, this is a shout out. Like the tourism of Colorado Springs. Go to Colorado Springs. Find yourself. Go there. Go see the Air Force Academy. Becky's cousins all went to the Air Force Academy High School, so we've been there plenty of times, and it's a cool place.
It is, yeah. My cousin has a kid that's there right now. Actually, he plays in the band, or used to play in the band. But they have a good band program and it's a good school.
That's why. Well, the Becky's cousins all played in the band, so. Yeah, it's a cool. I took Brenton last time we were in Colorado Springs, and we just toured the facilities everywhere to go see the planes, and the whole campus is cool, and it's built right into the side of the mountain. It's really a sweet place. So.
It is. It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, the next game I got is another Armed Forces team, but they are undefeated. The number 24 ranked Army Cadets are 9-0. And they're going into South Bend, Indiana, to play the number 8 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are 9-1. Notre Dame normally plays the armed forces teams, and when they sweep them, I think Notre Dame should start getting the Commanders in Chief trophy. when they beat all three. I think that's something that should be a rule.
They didn't play all three. They're not playing all three this year, are they?
Not this year, but when they do, they should.
Yeah.
They should get that trophy if they beat them all. But so Army 9-0, Notre Dame 9-1. Notre Dame is favored by 14 points. It's a 6 p.m. Central Time game in South Bend. Touchdown Jesus is going to be looking over. Who you got in this one?
Oh,
I know you hate Notre Dame, so
hate's a strong word.
You hate Notre Dame.
There's a strong dislike to Notre Dame.
Okay.
But I know a lot of interesting facts about Notre Dame. A good friend of mine is a big Notre Dame fan, and my cousin growing up was a Notre Dame fan. I think there's actually one picture of me wearing a Notre Dame shirt back in the day, so whatever. But here's what I hope about Notre Dame. I hope they keep on winning. And then, just like they did in the national championship game against Bama, they just look bad and they lose. So I'm going to pick Notre Dame. I think they're playing really well. They actually learned from them losing earlier in this year, and they've just kind of turned it on, and they're not looking back. I think they unleashed their quarterback, the Duke transfer that they had. I can't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure he played at Duke. They're just letting him run, and that's what he does. And that team is they're just rolling downhill right now. And I have them on one of 4 TVs. They'll be on there and watching it. Just partially because I want to watch them maybe lose, but
it's I think Notre Dame, for being such a traditional school, I love what
it's tradition. I would agree with you that, yeah.
I love what they do, even in their tradition with some of their uniform choices and such. And the Army game is always I don't know if you can call it a rivalry game, but they always play Army, and it's a good game. I am a closet Notre Dame fan, as you know, and I'll shout out to my buddies that are in South Bend and Elkhart, and got me started watching the Irish and caring about the Irish. And so I'm going Notre Dame as well. I think 14's a big spread against an undefeated Army team, but I got to go with Notre Dame. So I'm going there too. So
do you know the fun fact about Notre Dame's lines in their end zone?
I don't think I do.
Oh, this is one of the weird things that I know. So Notre Dame's end zones, you know those lines that they have, right? They're there on purpose. Like, there's a purpose to them. So Notre Dame was founded in 1842. So there's 18 diagonal lines that are at 42 degrees angle.
Oh.
There's your fun fact.
Good to know.
Yep, so they're going to win 42-18. That's the score.
Good job.
So, yeah, as much as I don't like Notre Dame, I knew. And I think it's the way it also... I thought it had something to do... Oh, yeah, pointing towards the... It's either Touchdown Jesus or pointing towards the Golden Dome on campus. The way it angles is how all that goes, supposedly. So, there's a purpose to it, I guess. So,
okay.
It's not just a bunch of dumb lines.
Good to know. In my online dynasty with my son... I am the Notre Dame Irish right now.
That's too bad. I hope you lose.
I'm actually undefeated and are about ready to get into the playoffs. So,
okay. Well,
yeah.
Hopefully you can show up in the playoffs, because Notre Dame doesn't usually show up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But then Notre Dame fans will say, well, at least we get to the end of the year. And I'm like, that's fair.
Yeah. Touche. Well, we're both picking the same team so far, 2 games in, so we're going to jump over to the NFL. I picked 2 games that are sentimental to me, so I'm going to probably lose both of them, but you should never gamble on games that you're sentimental about. Just there's a unprofessional tip for you. We got the Baltimore Ravens 7-4, 3-point favorites going into Los Angeles to face the Chargers, who are 7-3. It's a 7:15 p.m. game.
I think that's next Sunday night's game, isn't it? Or is it Monday night's game?
I believe
it's the Monday night's game.
Is it Monday? Okay.
I think it is because I think I saw that on the Manning cast last week.
Okay.
Because I think they said, "Oh, we have a good game next week," because the Cowboys game was so horrible last night.
So Ravens 7-4 at Chargers 7-3. Chargers are on a win streak and Harbaugh's got them going. Ravens are just, it seems like they're playing just tough football every single week, but they're favored on the road by 3 points. I don't know. I haven't looked up the stats on this, but it seems like every time the Ravens are favored on the road by this few points, it just doesn't seem to go well for them. And that's just a hunch I have, but I need the Chargers to lose. So I'm going Ravens on this one. I'm going Ravens.
Okay. And I was going to go Chargers because, well, I have Jackson as my quarterback in one of my leagues, but last week I literally was going to drop him and play Jared Goff. And because I was like, man, Jackson's playing the Pittsburgh Steelers and their linebacking core and Watt getting after him. But man, Chargers got Bosa that will do the same exact thing. Keep him, in line and don't let him and scramble. And playing on the road, I think is completely different. So I think it's going to be a shootout, but I think the Chargers are going to win.
Okay, fair enough. All right, another sentimental game. Denver Broncos 6-5 are 5.5-point favorites on the road. Rivalry game, divisional game at the Vegas Raiders. 2-8. It's a 3:05 game in Vegas.
Broncos.
You're going Broncos?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think the Broncos defense is playing really well right now.
They are.
And defenses carry, and I think Bo Nix is also figuring out what Sean Payton wants from him.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, this is the first time, I think, in Sean Payton's career that he's actually drafted a quarterback in the first round. He usually gets those low-round guys or, acquires them. But I think Bo Nix is that quarterback that he can run the stuff that Sean wants to do, and Bo Nix is buying into it. And I think that's what you're seeing right now these last few weeks. I think just playing confidence-wise, playing the Chiefs well, right? That carries over. So,
yeah, the Broncos have a winning record right now, and to be this favored on the road in a divisional game with a rookie quarterback, it is defense. Their defense is, they got the best corner in the league. They got one of the best up and coming pass rushers in the league. Their linebacking core is continued to be solid all year. It's tough. It's tough to see them at 6-5 because I think you take the rookie quarterback out of it, if you were to put, this is one of those debates, in the NFL with parity and all this stuff. It comes down to a coach and a quarterback, right? You put any of those top 10 quarterbacks, maybe the 6 through 10 quarterbacks on the Broncos roster, the Broncos are 7-3 or 8-2, and a lock for the playoffs,
Yeah.
Bo Nix has done exceptionally well for a rookie quarterback coming in. I was really glad with that pick, even as an Oregon guy. I just knew he just seemed ready. You play in college football for 24 years like he did. You got to be ready. Remember Chris Winkie?
Yeah.
When he came out of Florida State, and that was before COVID year and red shirt and transfer rules and all the things. He was like 30 years old.
Yeah, but he played professional baseball first, didn't he?
Yeah, but I'm saying Bo Nix he's an old rookie.
Yeah. How old is Bo Nix? Like 30?
No.
I was just joking.
But I have been impressed. I'm glad he's our quarterback and our quarterback for the future. Obviously, I'm going Broncos on this one because the Broncos need a win. The Chargers need to lose, and that puts them back more in line with the possible playoff spot, and that would be really great. So I'm going Broncos as well to beat the Raiders. Sorry, Uncle Brooke, Broncos roll in Vegas. So
yeah, I mean, you can get behind a 24-year-old quarterback. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there we are, Broncos. So we're still just one game off in this week. Last game of the week is the one that is meaningful to you, meaningful to all of us. The Wisconsin Badgers at 5-5, 3-4 in the Big Ten are going into Lincoln. 5-5, 2-5 in the Big Ten. 2.5-point favorites for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
All right, here's the game plan. Wisconsin, if you're listening, the way to beat Nebraska, run the ball. Same run play, constantly. Can't stop it.
That's what they'll do.
And then what you do is you run wide receivers in front of each other, in front of your DBs, where they have to hand off the wide receivers, and they don't know how to communicate. Then there's a guy wide open just catching the ball for touchdowns. Or you just throw it up, and your 5'8" corners can't catch it. So whatever. There's the game plan. Wisconsin needs all the help they can. They fired their offense coordinator this week. Wisconsin did. So they're going to be, I think I heard Fickle say they're going to do it by committee. So it'll be kind of interesting what Wisconsin's actually going to do for an offense this weekend, which will go just perfect with Nebraska not really knowing what they want to do either. So,
but here's the thing with Wisconsin: you just gave a game plan, kind of tongue in cheek, but that's how Wisconsin beats Nebraska every year. They just that's what they do. They have a running back that can run the ball 30 times, and that's what they do. They run the ball 30 times right at us, and we can't tackle him. That's what it's been the last 3 seasons they've played Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, last year, I'm trying to remember last year we lost in overtime because we lose every game in overtime. We lose a lot of games, so it doesn't really matter. But
here's my point. I didn't know about their offensive coordinator and the changes there, but Wisconsin seems to know how to beat Nebraska. And so you just gave a game plan of how to beat Nebraska. But here's what I've been talking about all year. You got to make adjustments to recover. So this is Nebraska. This isn't a hot take, but
just say it.
My hot take, I guess. This is Nebraska's last chance to get to a bowl game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They're unless they come out and just hit Iowa in the mouth, they're not going to beat Iowa. And this is their last hope. This is their last chance. So Nebraska, and they're favored by 2.5. I know they're at home, so it's a pick'em game.
It's senior day too. Senior day, you hope that they come out. This is kind of like the last moment and Matt Rule kind of talked about it today. College football's kind of changed, or he talked about it yesterday. College football's kind of changing with the whole new roster limits. This is kind of like the end of the era for rosters being as big as they are in Nebraska, and Wisconsin has a good walk-on program too. But this will be the last year of these seniors that are part of the walk-on program that can graduate, because some of them won't be around. Like this year, the roster is like pushing 130, I think 140 maybe, and next year you're only going to be 105 or whatever that number is. So you literally have to cut 30 people next year. Before you get into the new roster limits with NIL and stuff, all that, with all the budgets that college football is taking on. So this will be kind of interesting to see how Nebraska should react, and the seniors that literally have been around for 5 or 6 years, at least 5 years. They just need to get this. You're right. This is the game they need. They need to get to a bowl game. They need to enjoy going to Detroit or something. I don't know. So we're going to end up going to a bowl. Here's the dumb thing. I'm calling it now. Nebraska's winning the game, right? We're going to win by 10 because that's always what I pick. They're going to end up, Nebraska's going to be happy, and then Nebraska fans are going to complain that we're going to end up going to a bowl game where it's cold. I'm calling it right now because that's what's going to happen. It's 100%.
At least if they play in Detroit, then they'll be in the dome.
True. Yeah, if it was like New York, you'd have to play outside. Or didn't they have a Fenway Bowl last year too? I don't remember. I think they played one in Fenway Park, but I could just see it now. Nebraska fans will just complain that we're not in Florida or Texas or
San Diego.
San Diego. But yeah, so I think Nebraska. I mean, I think something needs to change. I don't think just winning this game changes everything, obviously. But you need to get off of the losing to Wisconsin and Iowa every year, and I think this is the year to. Well, we say that about a lot of schools. This is the year to get them, and as long as we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, and as long as. And Rule called out players. He called out positions. He says, "I want my cover 2 corner to play cover 2. I don't need him to do anything else. I want him to play cover 2. And I want my safety, who's supposed to be cover 3, right? I want him to play cover 3. I don't need him to do anything else." And I think if you can get the mindset, and I don't know what these kids are trying to be, a superhero, for the team. And maybe that's what the problem is. They're all just trying to do whatever they can to win.
You don't trust the system, and he's a system guy, and that's what he's saying. He's been preaching that message all year long, which is consistent, which is good. But you're right, and that's what it comes down to. I think Nebraska wins 28-20. When they go to a bowl game, they're going to finish the season 500 and give Matt Rule another year. So,
well, he's going to get another year anyways.
I know, but if you finish 500, you're starting same record you had the year before. So,
well, yeah, you got to improve every year, even if that's just one extra win.
Yeah, and that's huge. I'm not discrediting that.
No. I agree with you too. Like it's such a nasty off season listening to that because it's. I mean, everybody thought when we started 5-1 that we were going to be 7. Well, everybody was saying, 7-1 going to Ohio State? Remember that chatter? Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I wish we could have that back. I know, but then we had Indiana and we crapped down our leg. But
yeah,
anyways,
watch Indiana blow up the playoff this year.
Yeah. I mean, I know you don't have that pick. I mean, that's a game I'm going to have that game on this weekend.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Indiana. Part of me just wants to watch. Part of me wants Indiana to keep on winning, only because that means they beat Ohio State. And I kind of like to have Big Brother get beat up a little bit in the Big Ten. But then the narrative, too, is like me and you've had these conversations offline about the whole bringing on a whole roster every year. Like, it's Colorado's done and Indiana is like, what's that narrative going to be for college football in general? Is a coach is only going to get a job based off of how many guys they can bring. And is that good for college football too? So it'll be interesting how that plays out and that narrative, because it will become more of a talking point as you get closer to the playoffs.
But yeah. I could let that lie, and
no, you're good.
That is a discussion we've had, and it's not just how many players they can bring. You got to win. And in our offline arguments, that's what I've said. It doesn't. Player development is hogwash at this point in college football. It's not about player development. 1.5% of the players go to the NFL. And if you want to develop a player, it's not about the coach and staff or the program or the culture. That's on the player.
Yeah.
I've told my kids that all their life. If you want to play, you need to put the effort in and work hard and earn your spot. And the guys that are going to the NFL are going to the NFL because they can make it in the NFL. The other 98.5% of players that don't go to the NFL, they're still good enough to play college football. But player development is not that's why Nick Saban's not coaching anymore. He couldn't develop young men anymore to be men, and that's what he said anyway, is that he doesn't want to get into the professional game, which is exactly right. But this is where you and I differ in our offline conversation, but is, if you're going to win games and you're going to flip over the lineup every 2 years, but you're still going to win, I'm following you.
Yeah, and I think that's just the mindset of traditional, right? Like, Nebraska, that's just what you're instilled in. Bring on the walk-ons, develop, and I think that's what Rule is now starting to figure out. And other coaches are now saying it too.
I will say this though, to your point, if Nebraska wanted to keep this is where I talk about this and other things too.
Yeah.
If you want to make an argument out of one side of your mouth, then you got to live to back that up out of the other side of your mouth. And if Nebraska wants to talk tradition and player development and walk-ons, then they should have never left the I formation offense, and they would still be dominating college football because they had the best offensive line. They could still run the ball because nobody would know how to stop it because everybody's spread out. And that's what, if you brought back the I formation and triple option at Nebraska with that talent, they would still dominate because nobody's playing it anymore.
No, I thank Steve Peterson for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. We can sit here and argue tradition, but then we try to bring Bill Callahan in here and try to do the West Coast offense, and then Scott Frost and his Oregon stuff, and it's the same. It's arguing out of both sides of your mouth.
Yeah, and to your point though, like that's one thing. That's like another. Like Oregon is a good example. They bring in coaches all the time, but like their style has never really changed. It's a version of what they've always done, like a spread them out kind of, the Chip Kelly stuff. But and like Wisconsin's the same thing. In Iowa, they just have a culture built in. But they've also had, they haven't had to really been any changes from the top down either. Besides, obviously coaches. But so, anyways, doesn't matter. Nebraska's gonna win. We're gonna go to Detroit, Little Caesars Bowl, whatever they call it, the Lawnmower Bowl, whatever that one was called. I don't remember.
You know what's going to happen. I don't even know if they have a bowl game. They're going to go to the John Deere Bowl in Des Moines, Iowa.
They're going to play that in the Northern Iowa's. Doesn't Northern Iowa have a dome?
I don't know.
I think Northern Iowa's stadium is like one of those blow-up domes.
There you go.
They played in there. Or, old school. You can go play it in our favorite college football indoor place was at Idaho or Idaho State. Yeah, you can go play there.
The barn.
The barn. So, all right, man. What's on tap for you this weekend?
This weekend, got the kids this weekend, so looking forward to that, and just kind of more of the same, just kind of relaxing and hanging out and seeing what they want to do. And basketball season started. My son's in tryouts this week, and so that's been on our minds, and his ankle's healing, and so he's back at it, so that's good. But that's not a whole lot going on. What about you?
Yeah, this weekend for us, Friday night, we have a banquet that we're going to. It's called the No Shave Nebraska. It's a nonprofit that gives back to families that have been dealing with cancer. So it's their third year for it. Becky and I shot kind of like a little promo, kind of a give thanks video for it a couple weeks ago. So I'm interested to see what the editing was. Me in that should be entertaining because all I did was just talk. He told me I gave really good content. We'll see how well he edited it. But we have that this weekend. It's a pretty fun event. It's literally just a bunch of. It's an event that was put on and started by somebody who lives in rural Nebraska, and he's like, Brant, who runs it, was like, these farmers, they have money they want to get rid of, right? But they don't want to go to a black tie event.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's literally held in this guy's super nice building where he stores all his tractors, right? And his harvesting stuff. And they hold like 500 people in there. And they just, the amount of money that just flows through there from silent auctions and live auctions, and they have comedians, and it's the third year, and it just keeps on growing. We were the recipients. Becky was the first year, and it was held in this little barn, and it's really fun. They live auction and sell things like flamethrowers that get sold like 3 times in a row. The year that we were there, they sold a grill like 3 times. It went for like, I don't even remember, like $12,000. Like, it just kept on just, oh yeah, I don't need it, resell it, I'll donate the money. And it's cool to watch people give back for that. That was kind of the question. Hey, what do you want to say to the people of No Shave during this interview? And we're just like, well, from a financial standpoint, it was crazy to see what they gave to families and watching families being blessed by it. It's just, it's a cool way for people to dress up in literally camo and they just show up and just have a great time. So we're looking forward to that. We're we're part of the family now, so we get some tickets that are pretty close seats by the stage to get in and out. So that's selfishly, it's kind of nice for us, but we look forward to enjoying that. It's going to be like a 6-7 hour event. Like, it goes pretty late at night. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing some people that I hadn't seen in a while, and be watching and hearing stories from families that get blessed by the generosity of just these people with deep pockets. It's hilarious to watch what they argue in fun arguments about, buying bottles of alcohol that should only be $125 at the store, but it goes for like $1,000. So it's crazy, but it's all good fun and raises good money for people. So
cool. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. That'll be fun then. Good for you. Well, we made it another week, and we'll keep on going. So thanks for your time tonight. Thanks for talking about everything that we've talked about. And to all you listeners that have taken the time to spend the hour with us, thank you so much. We appreciate you. You are an MVP listener. So here's to a lack of communication of irrelevant age news. We'll see you next time.
See ya.